talk about the deep state. We talk about the globalists.
Inflation versus deflation. Well, I mean,
You're at Mar-a-Lago.
I'm baffled that this isn't front page news.
Do you guys support a specific political party, or do you dislike both of them?
It worked like a charm on you guys.
Let's go, Brandon.
What the hell is going on with our government right now? So we have Pam Bondi goes on Jesse Wars last night. It says, guys, we are releasing a bombshell report on Epstein tomorrow. You're going to get the full rundown, everything that happened, all the stuff we've been waiting for. And then today, we go through the full timeline of it. Ready? So this is what we got today. So we got early morning. Everybody's still waiting on it. By the afternoon, we get these stupid pictures from the White House where, here, I'll show you, where we have like 8 influencers get these stupid binders that say phase 1 of Epstein release. All right. So was this Liz Wheeler, the DC Drano guy, and the hell's his name? Posobiec. Like, cool guys. Like, what is this? By the way, like, what a shitty way to do this. Like, look at them smiling like they're all cool. All right, and there was nothing in there, by the way. So in addition to that, we get this letter from Pam Bondi today saying, this is today. Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein list of contacts, and list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn of this new information. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, and video recordings, and materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained. There will be no withholding or limitations to my or your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect the privacy of victims in accordance with law, as I have done in my entire career as a prosecutor. I am also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personal action within 14 days. I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country. All right, so same situation, it sounds like, with what happened with Scott Bessent in the Treasury, how Doge was asking for accounting information from the Treasury. Scott Bessent said, yeah, fork it over, guys. And then the people who work at the Treasury said no, and then a federal judge tries to rule against the Secretary of the Treasury, saying that he can't see the data from the Department of the Treasury. So now you have the Attorney General telling the FBI to, like, the bureaucrats, like the lifetime workers at the FBI, to hand over documents. They gave them, like, it sounds like, less than 1% of what exists. All right, and I don't even know why they're like bragging about this stuff. There's everybody's posting now, like, oh, here's the stuff that was released today. They got it up on the website. Attorney General Pam Bondi releases first phase of declassified Epstein files. I want to hear about the first phase, guys. Like, stop edging us. All right. And I don't want to get all pessimistic and say that this is a like Bondi problem or a Trump problem or anything. Like, I'm going to stay optimistic and say that it's just still like the war against the bureaucrats that are trying to thwart this stuff and stop it from coming out. But like, this is how you know some heavy hitters are involved with this. So, I mean, nothing crazy here. Like, you got a list of the stuff they found, like, yeah, nude pictures, VHS tape, cassette tape, one pair of black women's cowboy boots, size 8, images. Yeah, so nothing too crazy in these documents. No names. What's this? Flight log, Maxwell. Anything crazy here? Saul Levy. So it sounds like this is stuff that we already had access to. But yeah, like 200 pages out of thousands of pages that are being withheld. So let's take a look at what is being said about this, because it's like changing every couple of minutes. Still trending. Everybody's pissed. Oh my God. Yeah, nobody's happy with this. So the question is, like, are they trying to slow walk this, or are they dealing with the same thing they're dealing with the Treasury, right? So I don't know. And then Gene Hackman just like randomly gets murdered, potentially gets murdered, like in the same general area where Epstein lived. All right. So I don't know if I want to jump into that just yet, but let's see what the narrative is on this right now. Epstein release. I just don't know why they thought it was a good idea to give this to like a handful of right-wing influencers, like as if that was going to play well. Like, why can't you just post the thing on a PDF from the beginning? You know what I mean? So this is how the mainstream media is covering. So AP, the one that's allegedly paid by freaking USAID. No big news, no big new revelations in Justice Department's release of Epstein files. Trump DOJ feeds Jeffrey Epstein documents to underwhelmed conservative influencers. You should feel frustrated. The Justice Department released a handful of files on notorious sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein on Thursday, though there appear to be no new names or details. This info was first went out to a hand-selected crop of right-wing social media influencers Thursday afternoon, and even those recipients were underwhelmed by what the documents revealed. A source who reviewed these files told the Post ahead of the influencers' embargo released that they span more than 100 pages of the notorious pedophile's phone book, including a list of contacts without further context and addresses redacted. So, indeed, when the conservative social media personalities began live streaming footage of the content after the Post's initial report, they revealed the files that were long available in the public record, such as the flight logs, and all the bold-faced names in the contact list already were known from prior disclosures. Hours later, Attorney General Pam Bondi released the documents publicly. The names in the contact book included Michael Jackson, Britain's Prince William, Mick Jagger, Ethel Kennedy, the mother of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Alec Baldwin, and former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. However, the document appeared to be a copy of Epstein's Black Book that was first published in 2021 and later put up for auction. A list of 254 names on another document titled Masseuses was entirely redacted. The flight logs included the release were made public as part of Epstein's accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell's 2021 trial. No client list was included in the release, which was compiled into binders describing the disclosure as phase 1 of the Epstein files, according to the Post's source. Bondi later suggested more details will be coming in a letter to the FBI Director Kash Patel. Yet we saw that. She claimed that she had told the FBI field office in New York was possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the indictment of Epstein. Yep. Got it. Bondi went on to demand full and complete files to be sent by 8 a.m. on Friday. So in about 11 hours from now is the new deadline. Bondi previously hinted at more dramatic revelations in a Wednesday night interview with Jesse Waters. Yep. It's pretty sick what that man did, she said. Epstein's criminal activities with minors had attracted long-lasting public. Yep. Bill. Yep. Copies of binder circulated. West Wing. Yep. One influencer who obtained early access files, Liz Wheeler, acknowledged that the trove lacked a bombshell. Now, what's interesting is we're all waiting for bombshells, Wheeler told the followers in a live X stream. We're all waiting for juicy stuff, and that's not what's in this binder. That's not what's in this binder at all, and that's exactly how the Attorney General presented it to us. Quote, it's fine to feel frustrated, she added. You should feel frustrated. Wheeler briefly showed off portions of the binder, revealing heavily redacted pages, including a contact list, while insisting, quote, we're looking for what was hidden from us. And this is not what was hidden from us. Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, who leads a House GOP task force on government transparency, demanded more information, which, by the way, don't exactly trust her anymore. Did you know that Anna Paulina Luna, that is not her actual name? Let me, I'll finish this quote and then I'll show you this. This is the biggest bombshell I learned today, by the way. So she said, I nor the task force were given or reviewed the Epstein documents being released today. New York Post story just revealed that the documents will simply be Epstein's phone book. Luna tweeted, this is not what we or the American people asked for, in a complete disappointment. Get us the information we asked for. All right. I'm glad you mentioned that, Anna Paulina Luna, because watch this. This is the biggest bombshell you might learn on this live stream. I learned this hours ago. So Anna Paulina Luna, that is not her actual name. Her actual name is Anna Paulina Meyerhofer. And she was born, where is it? And there we go. She was raised a Messianic Jew by her father. Did you know that? And she changed her last name to Luna. I think that was her grandmother's maiden name or something to make her sound more Hispanic, but she is not, in fact, all that Spanish. She even in the past has put down white for the race box or ethnicity box or whatever when she was filling out a form. So sorry to break your hearts. I know that we were a big fan of her for all of her great work and whatnot. But yeah, so that's just a throw in a thing to question. Did you guys know about that? I was mind blown and heartbroken all at the same time. But so much crazy stuff happened today. The Gene Hackman thing. Now, it's not weird that Gene Hackman died. I mean, the guy was 95, but what is weird, if you haven't heard about this, is that both he and his wife and his dog are just found dead with no trace of, I guess, like disruption or violence or anything. So from NBC News, legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife had been dead for quite a while before their bodies were found in separate rooms of their New Mexico home. Authorities said Thursday, calling their deaths suspicious. Hackman, 95, Betsy, 65, were found in their Santa Fe home, Santa Fe, New Mexico, along with their dog. An investigation is underway. A search warrant says the deaths are suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation. So, you know what's suspicious about this is that how far would you guess Hackman's home is from Epstein's Zorro Ranch? Because I looked it up, and this is what Grok spit out to me. Gene Hackman's home in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch, also New Mexico, are in the same general region. Hackman lived in Hyde Park an area just northeast of Santa Fe City Center. Zorro Ranch is located near Stanley, New Mexico, about 35 miles south of Santa Fe. So, according to property records and maps, the driving distance between where Hackman died and where Zorro Ranch was about 40 to 45 miles, less than an hour away. Now, of course, it could be a coincidence. I mean, allegedly, right? But I mean, I just find it weird. Like, it would be weird if he and his wife and his dog all died at the same time in this way without Epstein living less than an hour away from him. But the fact that Epstein did live less than a mile away from him makes it super weird. So, thank you, Miss D. Thank you. Smash that like button, guys. That's right. But let's put that in the poll because maybe I'm the crazy one. Maybe it's not all that weird at all that Hackman lived less than an hour away from Epstein. Maybe they're both entirely separate issues. But let me throw this in the poll real quick and see if I'm on an island here or if you guys agree with me. Hackman and Epstein connected? Yes. No. All right. So let's finish reading this article. A search warrant says, yeah, that's suspicious. Preliminary findings from the medical examiners found no signs of external trauma. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office said the cause of the death has yet to be determined. Carbon monoxide and toxicology tests were requested for both Hackman and Arakawa. Hackman's family said in a brief statement Thursday that he, quote, was loved and admired by millions around the world for his brilliant acting career. But to us, he was always just dad and grandpa. Hopefully not a associate of Epstein. Quote, we miss him sorely and are devastated by the loss, they said. Deputies were called at about 1:45 p.m. Wednesday to an address on Old Sunset Trail in Hyde Park. The sheriff's spokesperson, Denise Woolmack Avila, said in the statement, 2 maintenance workers said they found the front door of the home ajar. That's weird. That is weird. And the couple dead inside. According to the search warrant, it says deputies, quote, did not observe any signs of forced entry into the home. Well, yeah, because when you're a professional hitman, you don't need to force your way in. You have every means possible at your disposal to get in that bad boy. A man who identified himself as the subdivision's caretaker called 911 to report finding the bodies. The call audio showed he told the dispatcher he would meet first responders at the gate because he didn't have an address for the house. I'm not inside the house. It's closed. It's locked. He told the dispatcher, I can't go in, but I see them. She's laying down from the window. Wait. All right, that's weird. We just literally saw 2 lines up. It said the door was ajar. Right here. 2 maintenance workers said they found the front door of the home ajar and the couple dead inside, according to the search warrants. Okay. And then it's saying this man who identified himself as the subdivision's caretaker called 911 to report the bodies. And he said, I'm not inside the house. It's closed. It's locked. He told the dispatcher, I can't go in, but I see them. All right. So you have 2 conflicting things. Like, am I missing something? Or are those 2 conflicting statements? Like, this is when you catch the slip ups, is the first initial information. So, like, as time goes on, the story gets tighter and tighter, and the inconsistent information gets few and far between. So, I mean, maybe it's one of those things like when somebody dies from a suicide of 2 shotgun wounds to the head. Maybe it's one of those where they're like, they want you to know that some shit went down. He couldn't answer the questions about whether they were breathing or able to talk, according to the audio. Said, quote, dude, they're not moving, the caller said. Just send somebody out here really quick. Arakawa's body was found on the floor of the bathroom. A space heater was near her head, and a bottle of Prescription pills was on the counter. The warrant said, "Oh, that sounds like such a staged freaking thing. What the? This is such a freaking murder, allegedly." I wore the allegedly hat today because it's like feels like such an allegedly day. Arakawa's body. Yep, got that prescription pills. The responding deputy believes the heater could have fallen in the. The responding deputy believes the heater, quote, could have fallen in the event of the female abruptly fell to the ground, the warrant says. The pills from the bottle were scattered on the counter. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What, they made the Marilyn Monroe crime scene? That's literally the freaking Marilyn Monroe crime scene. Just a bottle of pills scattered around the room. These people are unbelievable. Unbelievable. They don't even try to make, well, I think that's the point sometimes, is to try to make it look like it wasn't an accident, and but like put the pieces in place to where you could make it an accident on paper. The responding deputies believe the heater, yeah, we said that. German Shepherd was found about 10 feet from her in a closet in the bathroom. That's strange. The dog was in a closet. That's strange. Oh, here we go. Some video.
What's the latest on the investigation into the death of Gene Hackman and his wife?
You know, we've
what's the latest on the investigation into the death of Gene Hackman and his wife?
You know, we've struggled to release as much information as we can, as we have. There may be a press release that comes out this afternoon. You know, the search warrant was executed just before 10 o'clock p.m. last night. And so they've been working diligently through the night and starting again in the morning to completely process the scene. And so we're still in the preliminary steps of the investigation. There's not a lot of new information that's available, but you know, we will try to include that in our press release this afternoon as soon as the investigators hopefully are finished processing the scene.
Can you confirm if they have been deceased for a long period of time? I was told maybe a week or two.
Oh, wow.
You know, all I can say is they have been deceased for quite a while. You know, that's a determination that's better suited for OMI and the experts, but it sounds like they had been deceased for a while, and I don't want to take a guess in reference to how long that was. Who found them? Was it the two maintenance workers, I believe? So from what I understand, there was a gentleman that was doing some pest control work that had gone to the Hackman residence, and he noticed that they weren't home, which was odd, I guess, as far as he was concerned. He made contact with a security officer that was there, either patrolling or in the subdivision, and then it was a security officer that went to the house and had discovered the individuals in the home.
You guys are ruling out foul play, though.
We're not ruling it out. What I did state was there was no obvious sign or indication of a foul play. There was no immediate sign of foul play. Haven't ruled that out yet. This is an investigation, so we're keeping everything on the table. You know, I think the autopsy is going to tell us a lot, and any evidence that we collect, but I haven't ruled any of that out yet.
Can you talk about the carbon monoxide aspect? I know they tested for that.
Yeah, so you know, obviously it's not I wouldn't say odd, but it's not normal to find two people deceased in a residence. That's concerning. And then there was also a dog that was in a kennel that was also found deceased. We don't know the cause of that, obviously, but you know, on our experience and working on cases like this, that is a possibility. Because of that, we called in the fire department, we called in P&M to go through the house, do some testing to figure out if it was even safe for our officers to go in and process the scene and execute the warrant. They stated that it was safe. You know, I don't have the details of exactly what they located or what they didn't locate. It was determined that it was safe. We had been going in and out of the house. I don't know if that affects, you know, if there was a concentration of any gas, including carbon monoxide. So, that's yet to be determined.
What did it say to you that the front door was open when their bodies were discovered?
Yeah, they were home. So, I don't know if that was, if it was left ajar. There was no indication of a struggle. There was no indication of anything that was missing from the home or disturbed. That would be indication that there was a crime that had occurred. There was no indication of that. As far as, there could be a multitude of reasons why the door was open.
What?
Obviously a very high-profile case.
Huh?
You're getting attention from all over the world. How does the department handle that?
The same way we handle every other case.
Oh, here, cliche. All right, so we still don't know if the door was open or not open when the witness got there. This reeks of something that's not a normal situation. Like, are you with me? Let's see what the poll's at. Wow, only 56%. All right, so explain this thing to me. What happened here if this wasn't an assassination? I mean, I know I'm on a streak of like assuming there's something more to everything that we see lately, but like my bad. Like, look at the historical accuracy of being on that side of things. Hold on, I gotta see what you guys are saying. Make me feel like a freaking nut job. Greenspan, we want complete Epstein Diddy Branson files. What are Branson files? TRC, yes. What TRC say? Massively disappointing day. An autopsy can be written up for money. Yep. But yeah, somebody wanted to kill him. That's also an easy way to do it. But what's up with the pills? Why were the pills scattered around the bathroom? That's bizarre. Yeah, but if they wanted a distraction, why'd they pick a distraction that was super close to one of Epstein's houses? Like, wouldn't that amplify the attention? He asking letter to Trump and Epstein are connected. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's continue this thing. Hackman was found dead in a mudroom near the kitchen. What the hell's a mudroom? Is that like an old people saying? According to the warrant, it says the deputy believes he may have fallen suddenly. Oh, he fell suddenly, and then his wife fell suddenly with pills in her hands, and then the dog died in either the kennel or the closet, and the door might have been open or might have been locked because one witness said the door was slightly open, then another witness or the same witness said that the door was locked and he couldn't get in. Okay. Both bodies showed obvious signs of death. The warrant says Arakawa's body also showed signs of body decomposition. 2 other dogs were found alive on the property. One was in the bathroom with Arakawa, and the other was outside the home. Aw, that's sad. All right, so what do we have here? We have 1 dog was outside. 1 dog was locked in the bathroom, in the closet potentially, and then 1 was dead in a kennel. I mean, that makes me feel like there was somebody else in there, because the 1 dog that wasn't either contained or outside the house ended up dead. Remember, guys, like they have some weird stuff that could kill you so easily. Like, I can't even imagine the covert weapons they have for assassins today. Sheriff Adam Mendoza said that there are no obvious signs of foul play, blah, blah, blah. That's the guy we saw before. Yeah, Hackman, blah, blah, blah. So weird, insanely weird, possibly connected to Epstein. Don't want to jump the gun on that, but my odds of this being something aside from a natural death are well over 90%. maybe carbon monoxide, but even with that, like it, and then if the dog that was inside the bathroom in the closet or whatever was alive, that's weird too, because then that somewhat rules out the carbon monoxide thing. Wires are acting up. So let's put a pin in that one. There's an infinite amount of things that we need to talk about today, like the fact that the Tate brothers showed up in the U.S., in Florida specifically, and they did not get a very nice welcome from Ron DeSantis, and I'm kind of upset about that. Look, let's look at what old Ronnie says.
We have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction, whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States. And I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Kristi Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out through the media that this was something that was happening. Okay, guys.
Is he welcome here?
So what the hell, DeSantis? Like, is that the common position amongst the conservatives? And then you gotta ask the question, did Trump have a role in getting them here? So let's get a full breakdown of what happens here. Tates. Let's go with all these whack ass mainstream media sites. Andrew Tate, brother Christian Tate, returned to U.S. after Romanian prosecutors lift travel ban in trafficking case. Andrew and Tristan have landed in the United States soil after Romanian prosecutors agreed to lift travel restrictions imposed as part of a sex trafficking case there. The brothers have denied the charges and are suing at least one of their accusers, a Florida woman who traveled to Romania for alleged defamation. The Tates are social media influencers, blah, 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 over 10 million. They describe themselves as entrepreneurs. Tate, 38. Wow, is he 38 now? Is a former kickboxer and MMA fighter. We live in a democratic society where it's innocent until proven guilty, and I think my brother and I are largely misunderstood, the elder Tate told reporters after going through U.S. Customs in Fort Lauderdale. Hey, close. There's a lot of opinions about us. A lot of things that go around about us on the internet. We've yet to be convicted of any crime in our lives ever. We have no criminal record anywhere on the planet ever. That's right. By the way, I put a poll in the chat. Do you like Andrew Tate? Their homecoming comes after Financial Times reported that the U.S. officials have expressed interest in the brothers' case to their Romanian counterparts at least twice in recent days. On the same day the Epstein list is to be released, the U.S. government is facilitating American shelter for well-connected predators yet again, said attorney Danny Pinter, who represents an American woman cooperated with the Romanian police in the case. Looks like they forgot to put who there. Typo. Quote, how are our memories so short? Epstein was also investigated and prosecuted in 2008 when the DOJ intervened to give him a sweetheart deal. Along with his 37-year-old brother, he has been accused of luring women to Romania, oh God, for sexual exploitation in a 2022 case in which prosecutors suffered a major setback after the judge found there were too many problems to bring it to trial. The brothers could not immediately be reached for comments, but they have denied all criminal allegations and in court filings called the American woman a false accuser. In a second criminal case opened against them in August 2024, they're also being investigated for alleged trafficking underage girls. Here we go. They are dual citizens of the United States and the United Kingdom, but have been living in Romania, where authorities warned they are still required to show up in court as the case proceeds. In the UK, they have also been accused of failure to pay taxes, and Andrew Tate is expected to be extradited there on charge of sexual aggression after the conclusion of his Romanian case. They sued one of their accusers in Florida, accusing her of defaming them, and she filed a countersuit earlier this month, calling them self-confessed webcam pimps and pornographers who made their first $1 million from lying and deceiving women. Okay, but lying and manipulation is not a crime, or I would even say manipulation is not a crime, right? So what the evidence shows, like what we know for sure, yeah, they did webcam stuff. Yeah, not the most ethical thing. All right, they are well-spoken dudes, good-looking dudes, have a really easy time influencing women. Okay, they socially manipulate women into doing this webcam stuff. Okay, again, not ethical, not the best field to get into, but not forcing anybody to do anything against their will, paying them for it, right? No actual sex for money exchange is taking place. Pretty much the same thing as porn. Probably not even as bad as porn, I would say. So, ethical? Nah. Manipulative? Yeah. Illegal? Don't see it. Don't see the evidence yet. Like, they had a few witnesses or allegers, never showed their face. But you have a ton of women coming out in their support saying that they're great guys and like they might speak tough sometimes, but they're super nice and actually care about the well-being of a person. I mean, am I on a freaking island here? Am I the only one that feels this way? Let's see. What do the women in here think? Let's see. Is Texas woman in here? Is Miss D in here? Is Steph in here? Is Denise in here? What do you guys think? Thanks, Ultra Lawyer. Says, Brandon, loving you in the main pod. You're a great replacement for obnoxious Adam. Thank you. And like I said the other day, the more of you that get in that chat during the PBD podcast and say that, the more likely it is to happen. So keep the support coming. It means the world to me and deeply appreciate it. The only thing I can control is working hard and improving. So I'll do that on my end, and you put the word out there on your end if you want that to happen. But much love. Thank you. Denise, what is up? Denise, do you like Tate? Do you like Tate? Ty Hacks Pro says yes. F Adam, more Brandon, my man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you guys believe I didn't even realize during the podcast the other day that Adam called me a pussy during the podcast. Like, I didn't hear it. Amy didn't hear it. Rob didn't hear it. Vinny didn't hear it. But I saw people saying it in the comments after. I'm like, what the fuck? He did? So I go and I see that, and I spoke to him about it, and I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? We were having like a debate, and then you just lob that out there and like don't even hear it. But like, it's a weak ass thing to say, like, in a forum where, like, there's not going to be a physical consequence of it. Like, that's one of the biggest problems today is that, for the majority of time, if you said something like that to somebody, like, you'd automatically have like a physical consequence. And like, it's the more hardcore, the further back you go. But in a like civilized society, it's a strange thing where people who probably wouldn't have said stuff like that like 100 years ago when there could have been consequences, like, just lob that out there right now. And it's stupid. And it's like what we're having like an actual debate about something, and then you start name calling because you don't have anything else to say. But you guys aren't surprised about that from him. Anyway, I digress. We're talking about Tate. Do you guys like Tate? He needs to get butt plugged. Let's see. What are you guys saying about Tate? Tate. LMG agrees. Yes, at least you're not gay. Ha! Nope. Thank you, Satoshi. Denise says, if the women are not complaining, then I have no problem. Yeah, so I mean, Denise, I don't know if you know this, but I went to Andrew Tate's house in 2023, and we were like the first ones to interview him after he got out of jail, aside from BBC. And that was like my second month working at Valuetainment, and it was freaking insane. Like, we go to Romania with a crew of, I think, maybe like 8 or 9 people, and I think there's even a video of this. Let me see if I can find the video. I think it's on Rumble, of me showing up at Andrew Tate's house. Let's see if I can get on Rumble here. Andrew Tate, PBD. Yep, here it is. You guys are going to laugh at this. So this is my second week, or no, excuse me, my second month of Valuetainment.
Let's talk about ivermectin. For decades, it's been a trusted FDA-approved medication to treat parasitic infections.
Come on, Matt.
Introducing the Ungun, the non-lethal self-defense platform. Lightweight and simple to use. It uses...
The fall from grace from Matt Gates, by the way. All right, so we're on the right one. You guys are seeing this? Okay, look.
Society.
T, can you go out here?
Must include is no object.
Look, so
without even looking it.
Oh, that's too cool.
You keep it in
they're waiting for us to get there. Look, look who this is right here.
Psychopaths.
Look who's at the door.
I'm about to find out.
Look who's at the door.
Hey, you guys here with Patrick, yeah? Oh,
there he is.
Oh, yeah, they're good, man. They're good. Tristan, nice to meet you.
That's
Tristan,
me.
Nice to meet you. Please come in. Thank you. They're cool. If he was your own personal driver,
I'm just like,
but I don't know him.
I'm just like, this is unreal. This isn't happening right now.
I'll show you where the
keep in mind, 2 months before this, I'm freaking just hating life, knocking on doors in Connecticut, selling solar. Everybody's telling me like, oh, see, you shouldn't have tried to do YouTube stuff. See, like, you know, everybody tries to do that, but you shouldn't have done it. You should have just kept doing what you're doing before. And I'm like, F you, I'm gonna make it work. And here we go.
Certainly the interview with Andrew is going to be happening. Wonderful. Never been better.
And I'm showing this to make a point, by the way. I'm not just.
I don't know where exactly you want to set up. I
there's
imagine the conversation between Patrick and Andrew is going to be held in here.
And the AC, and then they're going to be able to hear us. It'll be tougher to communicate in such a small room. I think outside of your guys' backgrounds. Yeah.
This table. Anything you want.
Okay.
Whatever you think looks the best.
Cool. Yeah.
And we can also rearrange anything.
So we're thinking Pat at the head. You're next to him. Adam across from you. Is that all right with you?
100%. Whatever you think's best.
Cool.
It's the BBC interviews.
I know Pat doesn't like his back. Fine.
Yeah. You guys are the boss. Together. Men can wear me and we. How are you? Because right now, that Victor trains right my hand. We haven't heard now. I like. So better. Plenty of blue layer words.
US is another word I like to use. What is that?
I love that. So right here, I'm asking Andrew Tate. I'm saying, hey, Mr. Tate, I want to run for president someday. Can you teach me how to speak as elegantly as you do?
Word, like I use perspicacious a lot. Indefatigable, I use a lot. I have favorite words I use.
Compendious is one of your favorite words.
Compendious is another word I like to use.
What is that? What is that?
Compendious means presenting information in a concise way.
Oh, wow. Compendious. I like that.
So I'll often say, like, I'm a professional. I'm particularly compendious, and I'm concise.
Gotcha.
I'll say that I'm a professional, I'm particularly compendious, and I'm concise. And then I'll make my point. So regardless of what the point is, before I've made the point, I sound like a genius.
Right.
So Andrew, do you have like a...
But I will never, ever, next day, look to my face in 34 years.
Tristan, the way
Look there. In case you think I'm lying, the fucking Adam had to scheme his way in there.
he described you today was something else.
Give it a shitload.
Anyway, you get the point. So, but I show you that video because the point I wanted to make is that there are a lot of women there that were living with him, and they all seemed super happy. Like, they all seemed extremely happy to be there. None of them were like looking like they were in distress or anything or upset. Like, they all looked like they were super thankful to be in his life and, you know, happy, treated well, very polite, very upbeat and all that. I mean, that's what it is. Like, you hear from the ones that have positive things to say. You don't hear from the ones that have negative things to say. They're always anonymous. So, like, if there was an abundance of women coming out saying negative things in a public way, then I'd feel differently. But there's not that. And, when that's not the case, then, like, why? Because if one does it, then more are going to do it, then they could sue. But if they do it falsely, then they could be sued. So whenever things are anonymous like this, I don't have a lot of faith in it. I don't trust it. And like the number that are coming out saying positive things far outweighs the ones that are saying negative things anonymously. Ew, what the fuck is that shit? All right, so is that the end of the article? Yeah, that was the end of the article. But why the hell is DeSantis coming out and saying this? What is he doing? He's been saying a lot of weird stuff lately, like that, and that is freaking he wants his wife to run for governor. Let's see, is there anything else on this? What is the poll saying, by the way? Do you guys like Andrew Tate? 60% yes. For the ones who say no, why? Why no? Dude needs to get butt plugged. Are you talking about Adam or Tate? So you say he admitted to pimping, but like cam pimping, like cam girl pimping. Do you consider that the same as? And by the way, if it's by force, despicable, illegal, that you should go to jail for. But if it's not by force, what's your opinion on that? Like, is it, because for me, it's an entirely different situation if it's not by force. Like, even if it's by coercion or manipulation, like pressuring, it's still not ethical, but not illegal. If it's by force or by threat, yes, illegal. So two very different things. Yes, I know he is a sexual monster. Now, some people would take that as a compliment. What did KK say? How were they dead so long? Kids didn't check on them. I know Texas woman's very suspicious. Very suspicious. Pepe B, thank you. Nice to meet you too. How'd you find the show? What method, if I may ask? Don't let him get to you. Oh, I won't. Adam, don't let, no, I had a swell conversation with Adam the other day, and we're on the same page now. Yeah, we are all good. Thought he told Rob something too. Yeah, probably. Did you guys see on the podcast today when they were talking about Jake Tapper and Tom said the Jewish thing? I was freaking dying. We might, if you did not see that, say no, and maybe I'll play that. Oh, Mahal Kita, come on. Do you just like Trump too? Tate is like an adult child type character. Yes, okay, but that's not a crime. Who hides behind PBD? Thank you, Jim. I don't think so either. That's not true, Miss D. Unless you know something I don't. No, that's not true. If that's true, it's news to me, but I'm very confident from everything I know that is not true. But please tell me if you know something that I don't. Let's see. Yes, Adam is beta. Brandon is gossip queen for low IQ chatter. ZZZ MAGA. Thank you, Sam. By the rabbi. Adam looks up to Tate. Enough said. Yeah, because he tried to jump onto the red pill thing and was like a Poor man's version of it. Yeah, it's kind of a bit. It's kind of a bit. He's much nicer in person. And yeah, I think he says what he actually thinks on camera, but like pushes it a little, like makes it sound a little bit crazier than than what he actually thinks for the reaction. Like he likes to get a reaction from people, and he's really good at it. Puke. I appreciate the effort though, Denise. Where are you traveling if you want to share? Don't feel pressured to, just making conversation. I remember I traveled, I told you guys before, I've done cross-country trips, drove through freaking like Kansas, Arkansas at certain points, and it's creepy out there when you're driving through the freaking boonies. I don't know if I told you, Cam messed with me one time. We were in like, I don't know, like East Bumfuck, Nebraska or Kansas or something, one of those crazy places, and like we're just in the middle of nowhere with like like those windmills and freaking those silos, like those wheat silos next to the farms and stuff. We're just at this like one gas station, like in the middle of nothingness, and he's putting in the gas, gets in the car, he's like, oh my god, dude, I just put diesel fuel in the car. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, the thing was labeled wrong. Like it looked the same. Like, oh my god, we're so screwed. We have to call somebody and have them like take the gas out of the car. And I'm like, oh wow, this couldn't have happened at a worse place or a worse time, because it's midnight in the middle of nowhere. And 2 minutes later, he's like tells me that he's messing with me. And was never like so happy to learn that something was a joke in my life, but yeah, it's creepy out there when you're traveling in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, let's see. All right, Mikal, we get it. Or Mahal. Funny. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, TRC. That was hilarious today. You guys want to see it? Did anybody see Trump shut up the Prime Minister in UK today? Funny. Really? Is that right? Let me look this up. It says entrepreneur, partner, and host at Valuetainment. Yeah, I don't know. That's a vague way to say it. Partner. It doesn't say part owner. It says partner. I don't think that's the case, Misty. I'll do some investigating, but I don't think that's the case. But anyway. All right, I'll look this up. I'll look up Trump shutting down the Prime Minister. Let's see. Because I did mean to get into that today. Trump. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, JD Vance actually had the best one, I think. Trump. Starmer. He almost brought in JD Vance to be the bad guy, I think.
Two countries. That is why this is up between our two countries. That is why this is the greatest alliance for prosperity and security I think the world has ever seen. Whenever necessary, we absolutely backed each other up, and that's at the
Could you take on Russia by yourself?
Ah!
All right, one or two more. Yes.
That's funny. Is that what you're talking about? Let's see.
It's an invitation for a second state visit. This is really special. This has never happened before. This is unprecedented. And I think that just symbolizes the strength of the relationship between us. So this is a very special letter. I think the last state visit was a tremendous success. His Majesty the King wants to make this even better than that. So this is truly historic, an unprecedented second state visit, and he wants to talk that through with you.
And that says at Windsor. That's
Yes.
really something.
Yes. What I haven't got yet is your answer.
Yeah.
I do need to.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, they really hype that up, how much Trump loves all that royal family stuff, which is a little spooky. So I heard JD Vance blasted him pretty good.
I said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies. But we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension, American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there.
We discussed.
All right, well, that's just straight bullshit. We know what's going on. Like, you're going around arresting people for being upset about the immigration problem, the immigrants from Somalia coming in and freaking like killing UK citizens. Like, it's a pretty clear cut thing that people are complaining that you're arresting people for what they're saying online. And we talked about this the other day that, did you know the only country in the world that has 100% free speech is America? So there's over a dozen countries that say they have free speech in their constitution, but each of those countries, except for the United States, have exceptions for hate speech. So hate speech doesn't apply to free speech. If it falls under hate speech for what their government deems as hate speech, then you cannot say that. United States does not have hate speech laws. I mean, they are trying to make anti-Semitic stuff hate speech, but that's a dangerous path to go down, because once you have laws against hate speech, then you do not have free speech, because it's a sneaky way for the government to start censoring you if they don't like certain things. So it's the same thing as the gun thing. Guns and free speech are the only reasons that America's better and more prosperous than any other country in the world, because you really just have to make sure you keep the government at bay from thwarting progress. I mean, the role they serve is for law and order, so that people have the confidence and ability to go out, take a risk, start a business, do well for themselves, grow the economy. So the government has to simultaneously be out of the way enough to let that blossom and grow, but also be involved enough to where you apply mild regulations, like where it's absolutely necessary, like in the most minimal way possible, and then enforce law and order, because if you don't have law and order, then you can't really have a country where you're starting businesses and taking financial risks. Let's see, anything else from this? Oh, we saw this one. So is that the right one? The one where he said, can you beat Russia? All right, let's take a quick hiatus to my favorite part of the PBD podcast today, because it was amazing. This was so freaking funny. Who saw what I'm talking about? Like, which one of you guys watched the podcast today and saw the part that I'm talking about where they were all simultaneously quiet at once? All right, let's see. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Turn to 10. You know, that you could actually do what you did, pointing a finger.
To defend Jake Tapper here,
Here it is.
partially because
I didn't know
think
he was
it's
Jewish.
Is he? Is he? I don't know. Explain that joke, Tom.
I just
No, Tom, go ahead.
Is he? Yeah,
I don't believe he is.
His parents are Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go.
So what does that have to do with? Tom, what does that have to do with?
Adam, you can continue.
No, I'm trying to understand the joke. Go ahead.
I know a lot of things are hard for you to understand. Just continue.
Go for it. I'll stop. I'll pause. I appreciated the joke. What do you mean? What's your point?
This is going to be the longest awkward moment. Just go.
I love
Say
that.
your point.
I love that. Adam, go ahead.
I love it too. I'm just trying to understand the joke.
But
Not
he
smart
is
enough
though.
to keep up.
To be fair, he is. Is he Catholic? I thought he was Catholic. Is he Jewish, Rob? I didn't know that.
It says his parents are Jewish.
Okay.
His parents are Jewish. His mother was raised Presbyterian,
that's what I
converted
thought
to
it was.
Judaism.
Both his parents are Jewish.
Okay, got it.
So
Sure.
he's
So she was Presbyterian. She converted. Okay.
So
and then
he-
what is he?
probably gay.
Author and proud Jew. There it is. CNN Jake Tapper.
Say
Jewish
that?
exponent. Yeah, anchor, author, and proud Jew.
All right.
There you go. Tom was right. Go for it.
Okay. I don't know what that has to do.
I don't know what it has to do. I didn't know he
don't
was
know.
Jewish. Tom is saying he's Jewish. I don't know he was Jewish.
All right. Well, then that means I have to defend him. Is what that means. Just
That-
like
that was
how I
actually
would-
funny.
I have to defend Jeffrey Epstein. It's just it comes
defended
with
Monica
it's the
Lewinsky.
agreement.
You defended Monica
It's the
Lewinsky
Jewish
with
agreement.
the
I have
hope
got
of her partying
I
at
have
11 in
I have
Miami.
a Jewish conference call at noon to take over the world. We do.
That's true, by the way. So I loved that. Really funny. But anyway, next thing to talk about is let's see. So last night, literally, me and Amy, we were told that we might have been on the show today to be prepared for it because we weren't sure Tom was going to be a game time decision. So me and Amy hung out last night. We prepped until like midnight because we're like, hey, we got notified like the last second on Tuesday we're going to be on. So let's really be ready to crush at this time. So we went through a bunch of stories, practiced kind of giving like a strong 90-second answer, 90-second soundbite for each story, and like went through scenarios and whatnot. Felt super strong about it going into the morning, and then like 7 a.m. notified, hey, BizDocs a go. You guys don't need to come today. I'm like, man. But the crazy thing is that so the stories we went over like were the trending stories last night, right? That's less than 24 hours ago. And these stories already feel like they're 5 days old because of how fast the freaking news cycle is moving. Like it's insane. I mean, what is it? The Luigi Mangione thing. We talked about that where women are sending pictures of him of themselves to jail and like they're lining up outside the thing and whatnot. And I kind of think this feels a little bit psyop-y because there's always talk about how like, oh, don't say the terrorist's name in the media, don't say the school shooter's name in the media. We don't want people to get incentivized to do this or think that it's like a cool thing where they could like go down in fame if they do this, if they're feeling like they're not important or if they want to make a name for themselves and like go down in history or something. But then why would you talk about the dude who shot the CEO getting visited by women in jail and like having them send pictures of themselves to him? Because I think that would incentivize certain dudes who are feeling lonely and feel like losers to maybe do something crazy if they're looking for female attention. So Luigi Mangione asks obsessed fans to stop bombarding him with so many photos. Luigi Mangione is asking his fans to stop bombarding him with so many photos. The accused United Healthcare CEO killer made clear on his legal defense fund website that he cannot keep up with the fan photos flooding into his Brooklyn federal jail. Luigi is allowed to receive photos via Shutterfly and free prints in accordance with mail procedures while in custody. A message in the FAQ section reads, Luigi Mangione is asking his fans to cap the number of photos they spam him with while he's locked up in the slammer over the slaying of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Due to the volume of photos, they could take longer than usual to be screened and shared. Luigi appreciates the photos that are sent and kindly asks that people send no more than 5 photos at a time. The update also points out, please note that every photo that is received and screened and reviewed by law enforcement. The 26-year-old accused assassin has been held up in Brooklyn federal jail since his arrest over the cold-blooded slaying of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The website, which blasts out updates for Mangione's murder case, also points bestowed followers to donation page for his defense fund that, as of Tuesday, has raked in well over 615,000. Quote, I'm overwhelmed and grateful for everyone who has written me to share their stories and express their support. Powerfully, the support has transcended political, racial, and even class divisions, Mangione said in a statement on the site. I guess there's a site that says, can I send Luigi photos? Luigi is allowed to receive photos with Shutterfly and free prints in accordance with mail procedures while in custody following the Federal Bureau of Prisons program statement and program statement, blah, 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 due to volume photos that can no longer take. Yep, got it. So this is what his freaking thing looks like. That's insane. But what percentage of this is because of the coverage of it? Right? Like, normally they say don't give the person's name, don't show pictures of the person, but they both said his name, showed his pictures, called him hot, all this. And there's the thing where they say there's like a psychological trigger for women where they like a guy who like has the capacity to kill but like keeps under control. Like Jordan Peterson talks about it with like the Beauty and the Beast thing, or the Twilight, or what is it? Twilight's one. 50 Shades of Grey is one. So like the dude who's powerful or like has the capacity to kill but is nice to the girl, that's like the biggest fantasy, whatever. But these chicks seem to have a few wires crossed, because I don't know, this isn't the first time that there's been this like obsession with somebody who either did something like this or was like a straight up serial killer. I don't know, I'm too young to remember which, like who it was, but they were talking about on the podcast today how there's like actual serial killers who were getting visited by chicks in prison. So there's something there. It's either like a biological thing, or even creepier potentially, is it like a psyop? Like, do they cover these stories in a way that they know is going to provoke this response from certain women, and then it just kind of compounds? Like, I'm sure just the coverage of this story right here is going to increase what's happening here, because this is the first time I've heard them speak about this. But now that they're speaking about it, I'm sure it's going to intensify tenfold, right? Because now it's not it's not like you're the only one doing it now. It's not like you're the weirdo who's doing it for the girls who were thinking about doing it. Like, it's like, oh, thousands of other girls are doing it, so okay, it's not weird if I do it. So I guess the question here is, like, is this an organic response, or is this because of how the media's covered it? That's a good poll question. Let's put that in the polls. All right, we like Andrew Tate. That wins at 57%. Let's see. I will put in the polls. Girls visiting Luigi. Steph says, my stepmom said Luigi is sexy. Make dads great again. Misty, you're on it. Steph, but do you think it's just a looks thing, or do you think it's the whole killer thing too? Organic. All right, so the question is, girls visiting loving Luigi / other serial killers. Organic or psyop? I don't know if this is a great way that I phrased this poll question, but let's see it. So I said, girls visiting loving Luigi / other serial killers. Organic or psyop? Let's see. Let's see. We should do a live trip and road stream. We almost did that for the inauguration. Yeah. I think so too. I think these women are psychotic. Let's see if there's any video footage of this. Let's go on X. Exit. X is such a good search engine. Luigi women. Let's see. Right when I say it's a good search engine, we don't get anything good. Luigi women visiting. Come on. Here we go. Well, it doesn't look like the hottest group of women out there. I mean, she looks okay, but eh. Dude. What's the ratio here? Is it like 70-30? Watch, this isn't even for him. I wonder if he gets conjugal visits. But see, like shit like, oh wow, another one. Wild. But see, yeah, like it's a dangerous thing that they start to like making it seem like a situation where you're going to get more female attention if you whack somebody, because that's what they're doing right now. They're like, you know how many dudes out there don't get any action at all? Now they're seeing this kid goes out and kills somebody, and then a ton of girls are giving him attention. Like, that's not a good like thought to put in people's heads. Anyway, what else we got? We got what do we got? Oh, well, hey, speaking of healthcare, while we're on the topic of healthcare, this was a big deal that went really overlooked yesterday. So Trump's putting something back in place that it's probably the single biggest impact on healthcare. Here it is. This is huge. I've been talking about this for the last 2 years since I saw that he did it when he was president last time, and then it was not enforced.
We have an executive order for your attention. In 2019, during your previous administration, you imposed price transparency requirements on the healthcare industry. This was a significant driver in lowering the costs of healthcare during your first administration. Those requirements were largely reversed by the Biden administration. Now we're reinstating
Or terminated, right?
terminated. We're strengthening them. The idea is to make price transparency a key aspect of healthcare policy in America.
It's one of the biggest things that can happen to reducing cost in healthcare. It takes a little while to kick in, but Biden ended it immediately upon coming in, which was a terrible travesty, in my opinion. And we're going to start it up, and we've actually made it even stronger by a couple of major factors, right? Anybody have any question on price transparency? It allows people to go out and negotiate and price, and you're not allowed to even talk about it when you go into a hospital or see a doctor. And this allows you to go out and talk about it. And it's actually one of the biggest. There's a couple of people that actually going back a long way that feel that are real pros in the industry feel this is the biggest thing you can do for cutting prices. And it certainly is one of them. And it's been unpopular in some circles because people make less money, but it's great for the patient. It's great for the people in our country. Okay, it's not so good for pharmaceuticals. It's not so good for the companies that make the drugs. And I guess you could say it probably isn't so great for hospitals, but they say that if you have a great hospital that's really knows what they're doing, it's actually great for a hospital because everybody wants to go there.
So the current head of the FDA, Marty McCurry, I talked about this, I think, a week or two ago with you guys. He wrote a book called The Price We Pay, and it's all about why exactly medical prices are so expensive. Because it's probably the most complicated thing out there, like understanding healthcare, like the most complicated political topic. Like you really have to, like, so here's how complicated it is. He talks about in the book, they got this guy who had like a 300 IQ to go in and like assess hospital payment systems. And it like blew this guy's mind. Like this guy had a hard time understanding it, who had like a Einstein level IQ or a Tesla level IQ, I should say, because Einstein sounds like it was kind of overrated, but I digress. But the simplest problem to address right off the bat immediately is that like hospitals do everything in their power to avoid telling you the price when you go in for something, like especially an emergency thing. This dude found, Marty McCurry found in his studies that you can go to one hospital, like if you're having a heart attack, it'll cost $80,000 to treat you. Another hospital down the street could cost $15,000, 1.5. No rhyme or reason, just whatever they feel like. And it's like the only industry where not only do they not have to tell you the price beforehand, but they do everything in their power not to. But that's what this is addressing. So I think this can knock hospital prices down very considerably. It's a big deal. So between this and routing out the Medicare fraud, this is a big deal for medical stuff. Like, we might be able to get to a place where we don't need a medical insurer middleman, because you take LASIK eye surgery, for example. Insurers stopped covering it, and it, or it was either they stopped covering it or started covering it, and it was far less expensive when insurers were not involved. It got infinitely more expensive when insurers were involved. So insurers to medical stuff, it's kind of like the impact of the government on student loans. So the reason that student loans just blew up like crazy in prices when the government guaranteed that they would provide any child, any aspiring college student with a student loan. So when that happened, when it was no longer the banks looking at a kid, looking at what they wanted to do with their degree, pricing it out, you know, in a mathematically scientific data proven way, like, okay, if we give this kid a $10,000 loan, they go to college for 4 years, they have $40,000 in debt, they're going to get a job that pays them $40,000 a year. That's not that crazy. They could pay that loan off fairly easy in 10 years with a 3% rate or whatever, right? So that's how the bank thinks. But the government does not think like that. And they have no problem giving a kid a $80,000 loan when they're majoring in, interior design or liberal arts or theater or, whatever, you name it, things that aren't guaranteed to yield you $150,000 a year, but they have no problem giving them $80,000 a year loans for whatever degree. So when colleges realized there was no cap on what the government would give, the type of loans that the government would give out, they're like, oh, wow, we could charge anything and these kids will still come, like, because we're indoctrinating them, telling them they need a college degree to get through life, to have a better life than their parents had, or to, be in the top tier of society. So they want to go to college, they'll pay anything for it, and the government will give them any amount of money in the form of a loan to do it. So that's what got college tuition prices out of control. But it's very similar with medical insurance and medical costs, to put it simply. Does that make sense? You guys are still talking about the killer fetish. That's funny stuff. Was it? Steve P, RFK, and Miss, do you like it? What's Steve P saying? I'll take their money and buy gold and silver with it. Not a bad idea, Steve P. Not a bad idea, especially with what gold's doing right now. Oh, yeah. I heard of methylene blue on Rogan's podcast the other night too. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not endorsing this product, but after I heard Chase Hughes talk about methylene blue on Joe Rogan, I ordered some off Amazon. And that might sound wild, but if you guys listen to what Chase Hughes says, who we've also had Chase Hughes on our podcast on PBD, smart dude. But he said he was suffering from what was it? Seizures, and he would not have any memory of it when he would come to. He's having 8 seizures per day at one point. Started taking methylene blue and it got rid of it, and it helps your memory and all this crazy stuff. So yeah, he said he's taking it, RFK's taking it, I guess Rogan's taking it now. So not endorsing the product. Do your due diligence, do your research. Don't listen to me, but I definitely ordered some after what I heard Chase Hughes say last night on Rogan. And so I'll let you know how it plays out, what my experiences with it. But he couldn't speak highly enough of the stuff. Now it's just a question of whether or not which kind is the right kind to buy, which may not be as easy. I paid $8,000 for an X-ray and some rose pin antibiotic antifungal for ammonia, and that didn't include the doctor I talked to. A major ripoff. Man, I'm sorry to hear that, Denise. That sucks. That sucks. It should have been a fraction of that price if things were done the way they could be done, with actually letting deflationary innovation kick in. It was for a better life, and today's life seems to be about ... No, Steph, no, you don't. I guess it's either it could be a pill. They have capsule forms, and then they have also liquid forms. But if you watch the Rogan Chase Hughes interview, it's the first 10 minutes of it, they talk about it. So he probably gives a better rundown on it than I can. But yeah, it's basically a supplement that enhances your brain. He has a great podcast guest out. It's a good call, Denise, and I have his number too, because he was a super cool guy when he was when he came to Valuetainment. He was hanging out with us after. He asked if we wanted to get lunch, and unfortunately, we were all insanely busy, so we couldn't. But yeah, he's definitely a guy I would like to have on. It's a good call. I will pursue that. What does it do? It helps with memory mostly. Discord. Don't you worry about Discord. And less than a week, we're going to have something that's like Discord on steroids with what Manect is about to do. We're having the big launch of it next week, and it's going to be epic, and I'm super excited for it. It's going to be Discord on steroids. What else we got? Anything good? Let's do this one. Gen Zers say antidepressants have ruined their sex lives. That's too bad, but they should not be taking that stuff because Big Pharma's incentivizing the therapists to give it out. So let's check this out. A lot of New York Post today. Gen Zers say antidepressants have ruined their sex lives. Quote, I'm dead inside. Nick was 19 when a psychiatrist offered him the antidepressant Trintellix to treat his moderate anxiety and depression after just a few short visits. Going on the popular selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI, a class of drugs that also includes Prozac. Didn't seem like a big deal at the time, but when Nick went off the medication after 6 years, he immediately noticed his genitals were losing sensation. Over the course of a couple weeks, he almost entirely lost feeling in the area and never returned, nor did the high sex drive he once had. What the heck? The region feels as sensitive as the skin on the back of his zippo does. Oh my God, said Nick. Now 27, a commercial truck driver in New England. He asked to withhold his last name for privacy reasons. He would ultimately learn he suffers from post-SSRI sexual dysfunction. Oh my God. For many, antidepressants are life-saving treatments, but in rare instances, they can potentially cause debilitating side effects that persist for years after stopping the drug. The medical establishment is increasingly recognizing these SSRIs dangers, especially to young people who are being prescribed them at a growing rate. Jeez. SNOMED. The National Institute of Health officials source medical terminology for U.S. healthcare systems recognizes PSSD as a legitimate disorder as of the last year, defining it as persistent sexual side effects, including genital numbness, loss of libido that could last for a few weeks, months, or even years after stopping antidepressants. Wow, that is scary stuff. Sexual dysfunction symptoms associated with the condition have also been acknowledged by official medical bodies in the United Kingdom, Australia, as well as European Medicine Agency. For many, antidepressants are life-saving treatments. Blah, blah, blah. Warning labels for common antidepressants such as Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, and all list discontinuation, sexual dysfunction as possible side effects. Well, yeah, I think every drug out there has that as one of the possible side effects. Nick can't help but wish he'd been consoled differently in his teens and not been put on medication so hastily. And that's the thing. I know a lot of people who have struggled from what they call depression or feeling depressive and gone to a psychiatrist or a therapist, and like within the first freaking consultation, like they'll say something as simple as I just haven't been feeling as optimistic lately, and things have just been tough. I feel a little bit down and out. And like within 20 minutes, the person's saying to them, like, yeah, have you ever thought about taking mood stabilizers or SSRIs? Like, what? You haven't even listened to them speak yet. What could be possibly incentivizing you to push these things so hastily? Could you be getting some kind of a kickback from the pharmaceutical companies? Yeah, that is the case in a lot of these situations. There's a financial incentive to prescribe these things to people. Like, I think I'm going to look this up. What percent of young people are on SSRIs? 8 to 20%. Wow. And this is 2019. So for all ages, oh wow, females, it's double. Holy shit. 15% of females all ages, 7% of males all ages. That's crazy. Wow, and the highest number is 45 to 64. Man, why? Why is that the worst time for women? Guys, it's pretty similar across the board. Women, it's, man, I would have thought that yeah, I guess actually not. But man, 10, 16, 21, 17. I don't know. I just wish there was like a push for like other solutions before people go this route. It's like I've never taken this stuff before, but just like the description of what it does to you is so scary to me. Like it, from what I understand, it stops you from going too high or too low, and basically stops you from feeling emotions or feeling feelings too hard. Like I've noticed whenever I felt down and out or feel kind of down about stuff, it's because I'm not doing something right. You know, it's because it ends up being because I'm either leaving potential on the table or putting myself in a bad position. Like something as simple as if I let my room get messy and like let it stay that way for a week, like I feel a little bit shittier than I would otherwise. Or if I spend a little bit more money than I should for a couple weeks in a row, instead of like investing it, I spend it on like I buy expensive meals or get a little frivolous with clothing or like go on a bunch of dates or something. I feel a little bit shitty. It's like, man, like those are dumb decisions. Like you're kind of leaving potential on the table. Or if I'm not making great content, or if I miss doing content for a certain amount of days, like, just things that you should be doing that you don't do, like when you're not operating at maximum capacity, it's like it starts to whittle away at your like optimism levels or your happiness levels. And then especially when you don't work out, that too, like if you don't work out for like a couple days or a week or a couple weeks in a row, you feel terrible. At least I do. Same thing for if you don't eat well. So just so many experiments you could do with yourself to see if you could avoid feeling this way avoid feeling depressed without having to take this stuff. I mean, it's just sad. And it's monstrous what these companies are doing, the way they're trying to go about it. Oh shit, I haven't even been showing the freaking right. It always does this when it opens a new page. I don't have the right chart up for you guys. So here we go. This is what I've been looking at. Son of a bitch. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Here we go. This is what I've been looking at this whole time. Sorry, it opened up a new page and took it off the screen share. So yeah, jumps up at age 45 through 64 for women. That sucks. And then double for women for all ages. But yeah, like I said, man, let's look that up. I'm going to look up, is there an incentive? Is there a financial incentive for therapists to prescribe SSRIs? Is there a financial incentive for psychiatrists to prescribe SSRIs? There's no direct universal evidence that psychiatrists receive explicit financial kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies for prescribing SSRIs in the way you might see as a conspiracy thriller. However, the waters get murky when you look into how the system works. Pharmaceutical companies have historically influenced doctors, including psychologists, through indirect financial incentives. Studies like the one from the American Journal of Psychiatry 2016 show that physicians who receive payments or gifts from drug companies think sponsored lunches, speaking fees, consulting gigs are more likely to prescribe brand name drugs over the generics. Even when evidence doesn't justify the choice, SSRIs being a blockbuster case of antidepressants, e.g. Prozac, Zoloft, have been part of this dynamic. A 2019 report from ProPublica's Dollars for Docs database found that thousands of psychiatrists receive payments from pharma, often tied to promoting specific drugs. That said, it's not a simple prescribe this, get a check deal. The incentive is more of a systematic drug reps build relationships, fund research, or push studies that favor their products. Psychiatrists might not even see it as a bribe, just business as usual. On the flip side, many argue that they prescribe SSRIs because they genuinely believe in the efficacy, backed by decades of data, not because of a hidden bonus. The Open Payments Program mandated that by the Affordable Care Act tracks these transactions. In 2022 alone, allowed over $12 billion in payments to healthcare providers from pharma. Though not all tied to SSRI specifically, you could dig into the data yourself for a clearer picture. So in financial incentives, not a straight line, but there is influence there if you squint. Whether it sways individual psychiatrists depends on the person and how cynical you are about human nature. I could be pretty cynical about human nature. So let me finish with this, because this is something I always try to tie in when the opportunity presents itself. Have you ever heard of the Wexner report from when the Rockefellers took over American healthcare? Is the right thing? Was it Wexner or Flexner? Rockefellers health care influence. Come on. The Flexner report, not the Wexner report. So when the Rockefellers started their whole nonprofit thing to avoid taxes and all that and influence policy, the Flexner report, funded by the Carnegie Foundation, but heavily backed by the Rockefeller money and vision, Abraham Flexner, tasked with evaluating U.S. and Canadian medical schools, didn't just critique, he reshaped. Before this, American medicine was a mixed bag. Allopathic doctors, drug-focused, homeopathic, naturopathic, and herbalist coexisted. Nearly half the schools taught holistic approaches drawing on Native American and European traditions. Rockefeller saw this as competition to his growing interest in petrochemical oil-derived components that could be patented into drugs like synthetic vitamins and later pharmaceuticals. Flexner's report slammed on non-allopathic schools as unscientific, pushing a standardized science-based curriculum centered on drugs and surgery. Rockefeller and Carnegie poured millions into schools that complied, like Johns Hopkins, while others, especially those teaching natural remedies, were starved of funds and shut down. By 1915, over 60 medical schools closed or merged, dropping from 166 in 1904 to 104 by 1930. Only 76 remained, all aligned with the drug-centric model. This wasn't accidental. It was a takeover. Rockefeller's General Education Board and the later Rockefeller Foundation ensured the pipeline produced doctors trained to prescribe, not prevent. Pharmatize deepened this Rockefeller ownership stake in IG Farben. We're going to get to this in 2 episodes from now with this Rothschild series. Ownership stake in IG Farben, a German chemical giant, later infamous for Auschwitz and Zyklon B, linked its oil empire to drug production. Petrochemicals birthed aspirin, plastics, and eventually SSRIs, patentable, profitable, and scalable. Natural remedies, ? Unpatentable and thus sidelined. The American Medical Association, bolstered by this stuff, became a gatekeeper, licensing only allopathic practitioners. By the 1920s, the Rockefeller Foundation was the world's largest philanthropy, steering global health to think the World Health Organization's roots in its international health division. Fast forward, the U.S. now spends over $4 trillion annually on healthcare, 17% GDP, yet ranks 36th in life expectancy amongst developed nations. Chronic disease, diabetes, heart disease, and depression skyrocketed, treated with pills like SSRIs, not cures. Big Pharma's 2023 revenue hit $1.5 trillion. With psychiatrists often at the front line prescribing antidepressants that trace back to this system. Rockefeller's influence is not a conspiracy, it's history. He didn't invent medicine, he industrialized it, prioritizing profit over wellness. The question is whether that legacy still serves patients or just shareholders. I'll let you make your own conclusion on that. But yes, that is all a fact, which is why I'm always railing against patents and all this good stuff, because everything's way more expensive than it should be. We're way less healthy than we should be. And just a few greedy, moralless people that kind of put our system on a different path than it needed to be put on. So this is the type of stuff that I think we'd all like to see change. Well, you guys heard of that before? Let's see. Oh, you know, I'm glad you said that. Well, robots end up doing. I saw a crazy thing about robots the other day. All right, one more story. One more terrifying story. So a Chinese robot, an AI robot, attacked a crowd at a festival. All right, let's check this thing out. I mean, would you call that an attack? What, did you lunge at them? Let's put in slow-mo. Oh, I can't put in slow-mo because I'm not fully open. Was that an attack? I don't know. But to act like these things can't malfunction is just silly. Like, they're already talking about having sex robots and everything. Like, you know for a fact that if they really start cranking out sex robots, no pun intended, but there's gonna be a guy or a girl that you hear an absolute horror story about one of these days. Like something gets ripped off, something gets like there's like an overshot or something. Yeah, there's going to be horror stories with these sex robots if people actually go down that route. So yeah, like, what do you think's not like AI robots? I think of it's almost like the equivalent of a wild animal. Like those people who will have like a lion living with them in their house because, like, yeah, we raised it since it was a baby. He knows us. Yeah, okay, I get it. Most of the time, he knows you. He grew up with you, but I don't know. There's always a small % chance that something triggers him, and he just murders you. Like, you think you have full control and full knowledge 100% of the time what's going to happen with these robots? Nope. You don't even know how your computer's going to act 100% of the time. You don't even know how the simplest device you have is going to act 100% of the time. So, unsettling. I will not be getting a sex robot, but people are going to try it. Somebody's going to get hurt, and that's just the beginning of it. Good night, Steph. Thank you for always being on. Thank you for being you. I'm going to wrap up soon, too. Taco Bell's so good. Nice Baja Blast. All right, we're closing in on 2 hours now, so I think we can wrap this one up. Has anyone listened to Hitler's speech in English for intellectual purposes? Of course, I find myself questioning history more and more. Yeah, so watch this documentary called Europa. the final battle or something. That'll really make you question things. Now, of course, I can't talk about that on here because it's like that level of crazy where like it's so crazy that they built their own website to host this documentary. Europa, The Last Battle, I believe is what it's called. Let's see. Maybe I could find it. Europa. Yeah, something like this. Let's see, Yandex. Yeah, here you go. So check out this documentary. It's freaking insane. I don't know how much of it's true. I'd recommend fact checking it while you're going through it because some of the stuff is like really mess you up in terms of like questioning reality and questioning what you've been told. But oh, I'm doing the thing again. Here you go. So yeah, go on Yandex for the search engine and do the one that says europathelastbattle.net, and it's a different perspective on things. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt, fact check it along the way, but it's a brain buster. It's a brain buster. Let's close that out. Yeah. So give that thing a watch. And yeah, it's kind of a follow-up to what you're saying here. Yeah, Steve, you would enjoy this too. Wait, what? There's an episode of Almost Human that you should watch about sex robots to make them more realistic, and they create a DNA skin, and to do that, they kill young women. Yikes. That's dark. Is who a hunter? Greenspan. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, okay, gotcha. Hell yeah, Denise. Denise gets cooler and cooler every day. You too, Texas woman. I'm a shooter, but I've never went hunting before. I've always wanted to. I always wanted to like get some ATVs and go like hunting for bison in Wyoming or something sick like that. You ever hear of how they in Texas supposedly they let you shoot those wild pigs from the helicopters because there's like too many of them? I just thought that'd be pretty cool. I would shoot one if it's like invasive, like the way that anacondas are in Florida. And if I were going to eat it. Hell no, me neither, Penny Paca. I just think it's interesting to try to understand the situation as much as possible because I think that there's a lot left to be understood that gets kind of glossed over because they try to like rush to the narrative and lock you into that and get upset if you ask questions. And there's nothing wrong with being a curious person and trying to get all the details, which A lot of people are. A lot of people go too crazy with it. A lot of people make bold, wild claims about sensitive thing, which you shouldn't do that. You should be responsible with it. But yeah, no, it's an interesting topic. Steve P, buckle up. It's a wild ride. And stay grounded. All right. Stay grounded. Couldn't get into it. It's yeah, it's a wild notion. Oh wow. Got buck fever. What's buck fever? I'll look this up. Oh, okay. So it's a good thing. Buck fever is a sudden feeling of intense excitement and anxiety that occurs when a hunter sees game. It's a stress response that causes a surge of adrenaline. Got it. I thought you meant like he got sick or something. That's funny. So that's how experienced of a hunter I am. That was my thought. But yeah. Let's do a hunting trip someday. All right. Let's do it, Satoshi. That'd be sick. Let's pick a good spot and pick a good time. I can't promise anything immediately in the immediate future, but we could definitely make that happen someday. It'd be sick. All right, guys. I'm gonna head out for this one. As always, love you guys. Pleasure hanging with you tonight. And remember to like and subscribe, and hit me up on Connect if you want to have a deeper conversation or ask me anything about anything. I'm slipping in the leaderboards a little bit. Let me drop this link in here if you guys want to help me catch up on leaderboards. ACTO, Connect, and then super exciting thing happening next week with Connect. Gonna be very cool. All right, and that is pinned in the chat. There we go. All right, connect with me on Connect if you want to ask me more about any of the stuff that I talk about, or if you want to get to know each other better, or if you just want to help me on the leaderboard. I'm slipping right now. Let me see. Can I show you guys right? Shit, I'm not logged in. Let's see. Show leaderboards. Nope, doesn't show leaderboards in line. But yes, I'm slipping. I was at number 1 in the middle weight category, and right now I'm like in the middle of the pack. And Flippin' Amy's about to catch me. I had a big lead at the beginning of the month, and now I'm in the middle of the pack. So anyway, love you guys. God bless you. Stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow night. Peace. You know, we talk about the deep state. We talk about the globalists. Inflation versus deflation.
Well, I mean,
Here at Mar-a-Lago. I'm baffled that this isn't front page news.
Do you guys support a specific political party, or do you dislike both of them?
Oh, it worked like a charm on you guys.
Let's go, Brandon.